Come here closer. 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 Whoa. 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 You know what? We may have to talk about boundaries. Might be a good one for my next video. But hey, get back in here. Hey, listen. You're not a failure. No matter what has happened to you in the past, no matter what people have told you, no matter what you may be thinking, you are not a failure. My name is Matt with Elevating Yourself, and as somebody that has faced failure, and honestly, there's been times where I thought it had bested me. I can tell you that it is not something that you have to worry about nearly as much. Failure is not the thing that's keeping you from succeeding. And in today's video, we're going to explore why we feel this way and what are some things that we can do to overcome the failures that we face. First, let's talk about the weight of failure. There are a lot of situations where it may feel like failure is the thing that's holding us down, when realistically the weight that's happening is on the fear that it might happen over and over again. And I don't want you to worry about that. We tend to think that our successes are based on our achievements and that failure can be somewhat daunting. But that's not the case. It's not a scale that when failure happens, we're just adding weight to one side and looking at the other side with success. If we don't add anything to that success column, we're not feeling anything gratifying. When realistically, what's happening is when you're failing and you're learning from that failure, you're actually adding weight to the success side. It may not feel like it at times, but I guarantee you the more and more you learn from your failures, the more successful you become. So why is failure necessary? Look, I have talked about this in so many of my videos, why failure is such a necessity for learning. Yes, success feels really good, but if you can grasp the things that are teaching you during these failing times, you can learn so much more. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed individuals and I want to know about their failures. And again, I know it's an interview, you want to talk about the successes that you've had, but when you talk about the failures, those are the things that are showing me what you've been able to learn from the situation. If you talk about just all the great customer interactions that you've had, well, how am I going to know what's going to happen when you have a negative customer interaction? What are you going to do in those situations? And when you've faced failure over and over again, chances are, if you've learned from it, you're going to be much more prepared than anybody that's had just tremendous success over their life. Now, again, success happens, and I'm proud of the people that have been able to reach the success that they want. But if you've not reached any failure points, then have you really learned anything in the end? And when you're in a leadership position and you talk about your failures, especially when you express, hey, you know what, I was wrong in that situation, you actually humanize yourself. You put yourself in a different perspective for those around you so that they can look at you and say, hey, you know what, it's okay if I fail. If they're failing, it's okay if I fail. And you know what? I want you to be able to say that. It's important for you to say, it's okay to fail. I'm learning something, I'm growing from it, I'm gonna get better the next day. So let's talk about just a 3-step recovery plan. When you're thinking about failure, the first thing I want you to do is pause and reflect. A lot of times when failure happens, we tend to react very quickly because we want to overcome the thing that just went bad. But what we have to start to do is just stop and think about what has actually happened and then reflect on what went wrong. What can you control? What can you do differently? What is it that you want to put in place the next time this situation has? And when this does happen again, I guarantee you, if you've done these things, you will, one, adapt very quickly, and you will likely overcome these things that much quicker. Next, it's just about reframing the narrative. You have not failed, you have learned. And it might seem small to think like this, but you have to change the mindset. You have to get into your brain and start reprogramming things so that when things happen that are negative, you don't beat yourself down. This can be so important. And when you start thinking about it, even if you just say it out loud, you know what? I haven't failed. I've actually learned. You say this over and over again, you will start to build that confidence back up that much quicker, and you won't be afraid of failure so many times. And I tell my kids this because I want them to learn this at a much younger age, that it's not about you missing out. It's not about you missing the situation. It's about you learning from it so that you can grow from it. Be excited when something bad happens so that you can learn from it and make it better the next time. And then finally, you have to celebrate the small wins. Don't be thinking about big successes. It's not about a big paycheck. It's not about a big promotion. Yes, those things are wonderful and you should be excited when those things happen. But when you make those small wins, you have to take the time to celebrate it. Even if it is something inconsequential because it's giving you confidence inside. It's letting you know that, hey, you know what? You've done a good job. You should be proud of yourself. I think about when I'm like recording videos, I've started to get ahead of my video creation. I used to record one video a week, and I've started to manipulate my time so that I can record multiple videos over a weekend. And I've been really proud of myself for doing that. Not only have I gotten ahead of things, but I've been able to brainstorm that much more. And it's been helpful so many times, and I'm happy about it. Now, are my videos doing fantastic? Maybe, maybe not, but that's not the case. I'm learning from this. I'm trying to grow, and the best way to do that is just to record more videos. Finally, let's just look at some of the common traps that might exist out there, and there are a couple of them. First, stop comparing yourself to other people. It can be a very easy thing to do. You see success in others, and you want to be like them, and so what do? You try to replicate them as much as possible, and when things don't go right, you think you failed. It's not that easy. It's not a 1-for-1 ratio for things that are happening in their life to your life. And don't think about it. Just look at what might you do in the future to gain your success. And it may not ever be the person that you're looking at. And if that doesn't happen, that's okay. You have to be okay with it. Another one is just dwelling on the past. Look, you can't change it. It happened, it happened. Nothing you could do about it. And if you're sitting there wondering what you should have done differently, and then what you could have done differently, and what you wish you'd done differently, and you're not applying that to future uses, then what are you doing? You're just dwelling on it. It just doesn't make any sense. You have to look at the past, learn from the mistakes that you've done, and apply it to the future. Don't be thinking about it too much. There's nothing you can do going forward that's going to ever change that. Finally, it's the fear of failing again. I hate to break it to you, but it's going to happen again. And you should be welcoming that. There's nothing wrong with having failures in your life. In your life, there is nobody out there taking score. There's nobody standing on the sidelines with a chalkboard saying, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. There's nothing like that. So stop worrying about it. In fact, when those things happen, you have to be thanking yourself. I am glad this happened to me so that I can learn from it and I can grow from it. And I'm going to make myself better. It is a confidence booster when you can start to turn this narrative around and stop worrying about whether or not you're going to fail the next time. And if you do, smile, learn from it, and move forward. Thank you so much for watching today. This is such an important topic to me, and I think to a lot of people out there, because we tend to look at failure as a negative piece in our life, and it really isn't. Remember, failure plus reflection plus action equals growth every single time. And you have to remember, every great comeback story starts with some sort of setback. These setbacks in your life are molding you into the great person that I know you can become. So don't worry about the things that are holding you down. Look at the things that are around you that can help build you up and make you a better person every single day. If you haven't had a chance, take a look at some of the videos I've got posted. I want to make sure that you're getting the best support possible. So if there's things that I can help you out along the way, please feel free to reach out. And remember, elevating yourself to the next level starts with just a single step. Take your step today. We'll see you next time.